Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Are you brand loyal? Are you as brand loyal as Coach Rob to Wilson? Bleeding Wilson Red? We're going to talk about brands, brand loyalty today. Stay tuned. All right, so this is part of our coffee club segment in which we do, and I'm enjoying a lot. Today sponsored by Jake Kasarjian. Oh, Jake is a coffee club member of my Buy Me a Coffee club and continues to hook me up once a month with a piping hot dark roast brew. And he has been for a while. So thank you, Jake, for your continued support. We appreciate you. If you want to be part of our coffee club or hook me up with a coffee once a month on the Buy Me a Coffee Club, network is buymeacoffee.com/tennis spin. If you want to just hook up the channel, super thanks is the way. Link is below. Cheers. Thank you, Jake, for your continued support. All right, so I got the coffee, and you got hot chocolate, because you don't drink coffee.
Correct.
All right, so I wanted to talk about brand loyalty today, because, I mean, Coach Rob, as you know, out of all the members of our team, is the most loyal to Wilson. Like, when it was time for contracts, I asked him, I was like, how about before I can even say anything, like, no. And then when I was like, okay, we'll do Wilson again. And he's like, that big smile comes out, and
Correct.
You know, we're good. We're good again. Okay? So let's start from the beginning here. Let's start from back in our little tennis days. You were with Head, but you were saying you weren't sponsored by Head.
I had just used a head rack. I had the red head, so, you know, what was it? What were you, 12 years old, 13?
Right.
I was not getting sponsored at 12 or 13. I was lucky just to get one red head racket after my wood ones. And then in college, I had some Yamahas going for a little bit.
Love Yamaha.
I maybe like on their preferred player kind of contract, you know, a couple discounts on sticks and whatnot, I think was kind of the deal back then.
So no completely free?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And then was teaching, and the pro at the club I was teaching at, had some, shout out to Jim Badillion at Ross Valley. He had been with a long time Wilson advisory staff member, and then he hooked me up. I got to meet Steve Dunn. Hello, Steve, if you're watching. He was the rep at the time, and they put me on, and I've been on there for decades, probably 3 decades, 30 years.
So here's the question. Did you want to be on back then?
Back then, I did.
Okay.
I was, you know, the club we mostly sold Wilson.
Okay.
It was a small little shop. We didn't have, you know, massive amounts of inventory. So it was good that, you know, he was with Wilson, I was with Wilson. We were both, I liked their product. I liked their, you know, obviously the pro staff. I liked their other rackets. That Wilson Pro Staff shoe came out, which was for my foot, felt good at the time, way better than whatever else we were using then. And it just continued on.
Okay. So was there at any point that you didn't like either a racket or a shoe or a string that they made, and you were like, I'm a little disappointed with you, Wilson?
I think it was probably that it came out, we listened to the hype, we tried, and you're like, okay. And then, you know, stay with the tried and true. And then the next year, another it came out, you know, whatever it was, whether it be different string, a new racket, change the pro staff. That was sort of the the hammer
Mm-hmm.
was like out. That was kind of cool. It wasn't for me because it had too much power. I could already hit the ball off the back fence. I needed something to hit it in the lines. It was just a evolution of it. So there wasn't anything that I was like, maybe it wasn't for me, but it may have been, oh, hey, this would fit these kind of players, of members of the club that could benefit them.
Now, was there at any point that you ever thought about leaving Wilson?
No. I'd been offered other, from other companies that I've known their reps, and they've also, they said, hey, we're happy to, if you ever want to make the switch, let us know. We'll take care of you.
Okay, so here's the other question. Let's say you're retired, okay? And
that could ever happen?
No,
Okay.
but I'm just saying, I'm just hypothetically saying.
Right.
So let's say you're retired, and because you're retired and not teaching anymore, you're no longer with a company, let's say,
Okay.
right? Would you still choose to pay for Wilson?
If I were still needing something, yeah.
Okay.
I think enough. If I ran out of all the rackets in the garage and was down to that point where I, needed something, yeah.
So basically, if you needed a gift or something for yourself, and you needed to pay for it, you would obviously buy Wilson then.
I would, because I know it fits me, whether it be the clothes, the shoes, the string I like, the frames, yeah.
Okay. Wow. So you're basic, because we've noticed in our 5 years of filming that.
That's how long it's been?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been over 5 years. That you, out of all of the pros,
Right.
are like Wilson tried and true, and like you never flinch whenever the thing comes up, and Wilson has gone through some changes, and
I think they've been loyal to me to some degree. So I'm like, hey, I feel like, repaying the loyalty.
Right.
And that knowing that companies change, product changes, but overall they're, seem to have the right ideas of what they're trying to make and a good reasoning behind it. I think also, like, you develop a feel of a racket.
Totally.
And I think, like, Wilson's feel a certain way. Now, how you describe feel, that's up to everybody else to decide what feels for them. But, Babolat's feel a particular way. Heads are this way. Wilson's like this. Maybe your Yonex is a certain feel. So I think, once you kind of develop, you find something that you like and feel,
right.
It's easier to change models when you're staying within your quote brand, I guess.
Right.
At least that's what I've found.
No, I agree. Like, Wilson has its own unique feel. Babolat has its own, I call it, slightly muted feel. Like, Yonex is a kind of a flexible feel. Head, it has its own, the grip shape in the past, and then now their own kind of flex feel too.
Right.
So it's how they design the rackets, and I feel like the way they design all the rackets has kind of a unique kind of a feel that is unique to them.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But like I said, let's just go down the coaches real quick. Jared will switch on a dime because it just depends on what is playing well for him, what he can do well in matches, and he'll change every month if he has to. Goo can pretty much say, what do you want me on? Kind of a thing. Like the highest bidder will earn Goo's loyalty, let's say. Like, if you want him to be on something, he'll just say, I'll want that racket, and then we can customize it to his liking, and he's good to go. Coach Chris is a little more difficult. He wants the racket to adapt to his stroke a little bit more, and he wants to be able to control it in his own personal manner. So he's extremely sensitive to little things. So that's why he's using a racket that doesn't exist in America right now. So we're probably going to go on another racket journey because it's just so difficult to get those rackets. But it's so everybody has their own kind of deal, and I don't feel like there's a loyalty per se. I mean, once you sign on the dotted line for the year, you're loyal to them, obviously, but nobody is as loyal as Coach Rob. You know, like myself, I mean, I was a Wilson guy for 20 some years. And what was the last one I used? I went from Burn 100 to Clash Gen 1 Pro 1619. And then they went with the freaking red. And I was like, oh, I can't do this. So I went with my Solinco Blackouts.
So if Wilson had made the Clash Gen 2 black, you might still be with Wilson.
Yeah, that, and they took one cross out. Because I didn't like the 1620 either. So
there you go. So that has more to do with the feel than the look.
Correct.
Because we get a lot of people that are very, I want the racket to look good, versus does the racket feel good?
Right. I mean, I just cannot play with a red racket, especially that red. And they added an extra cross on it, which I didn't like either. So it was like a two thing, you know. You screwed, I mean, I don't want to say they screwed up, but they screwed up on me twice, and I couldn't do it on that.
Right.
Solinco kind of came a-calling, and I couldn't play with the whiteout because it was just too hard for me to play with.
So is the racket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have to, I have to be able to play with it too, right? And I'm very, very picky about what I use too. So I used to be a Yamaha guy, and if Yamaha was still around, I might still be a Yamaha guy. But Solinco came a-calling. I liked the blackout. I actually liked the blackout extended. The half-inch longer felt great. After I customized it and loaded it up with the lead, it felt even better. And then they came out with a 28-inch, 1 whole inch longer, and I didn't really have to customize it at all. So that throw weight was the key for me. Like, I can't play with a headlight racket that's too headlight. I have to usually load it up with lead, and I needed it to finish for me. 28 inches, there's more throw, there's more weight towards the top. I didn't have to add lead anymore. It was just great in stock form. And I haven't used the stock form racket in over 25 years. So that was the kicker. It worked for me. The color was good. It was black. Okay. And I didn't really have to customize it, which was literally a bonus. So, and then, like what I wear, like, so everybody says, hey, you're a sellout to Nordicdots. I was like, no, man, I bought in because the stuff looks great. It feels great. And hey, the price is right. Right? If somebody's hooking you up with clothes and you actually like it, well, what? Right? It's called a sponsorship, maybe. It's called like them liking you and you liking them. It's a mutual relationship that benefits both. Buying in, don't be jealous, man. Come on, I bought in. Sell out. Crazy, dude. Anyways, enough of that rant. But yeah, man, these guys, look, I got clothes, I got hats, and it looks actually good on me. And it feels good. And I'm a Lulu person, right? So brand loyal. I'm brand loyal to people who are loyal to me too, right? So it goes both ways, right? It's just like what Coach Rob said. He's loyal to Wilson. Wilson's loyal to him for how many years we talking now?
Over 30.
That's loyalty, guys. That's loyalty. And Wilson's gone through a bunch of stuff, and they're really in a good place right now. Probably the best shoes they ever made, the best clothes they ever made. Probably getting close to the best rackets they ever made, except for those freaking colored things that you guys do. But we're in a good spot with Wilson, okay? We kind of have to go through the highs and the lows with our companies if we're that loyal, and kind of stick with them as they stick with us. So guys, are you brand loyal to your company? I mean, obviously most of you have to purchase your stuff, and I see you guys doing that, and you're constantly buying your Wilsons or your Babolat's or your Yonex over and over again because you're used to that brand, you're used to that feel. And I'm questioning some of the color choices that we are about to be choosing here, but will you be buying those colors? Are you that loyal? And will you be that loyal? Right? Those are the questions you guys answer, and I'm sure, just because of who you are and who they are, you'll continue down that path, just like Coach Rob. Anything to add, Coach?
And thinking about what we're talking about here is more, Chris, Goo, Jared, those guys are still playing and competing, so they're still looking and trying to find maybe the magic, where, okay, I'm not playing and competing as much anymore, so I can just go out and grab a racket and play with it and teach with it. So I'm not ultra tweaking, and I did that back in the day, but nowadays I'm like, if I miss a shot, it's on me. It's not the racket.
See, it takes wisdom for that too. but I feel like, when you're at the competition level, you feel like you need to get every little edge. And today's racket might not be tomorrow's racket. It's literally like that.
Right. And those guys are still at that youthful age where they're competing, playing a lot, trying to improve, finding that next thing that, is going to help them hit the shot that they need to under pressure at the right moment at the right time.
Right. Yeah. So, guys, what helps you choose your equipment? Are you that loyal? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to see it. All right, Coach Rob, thank you so much.
Sure.
And I'm sure Wilson would love to thank you too for your loyalty. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.